The legends are tired, and this time, they're not holding back.
They turned our blood, sweat, and rivalries into TikToks and Diddy parties. This ain't the league we built.
The legacy they built in the 90s is being ripped apart right in front of our eyes. The new guys are way too soft and lazy. And now, this is what being an NBA star has been reduced to. But here's the real shocker. It's not just the players. There's a whole system behind the scenes, and it's darker than anyone realizes. Stick with me, because I'll be breaking down exactly how the league has changed, why the legends are calling it out, and the secrets that the NBA doesn't want you to know. Wait until you hear what Magic Johnson revealed about the people really running today's league. Man, have you noticed how watching the NBA now just feels different? Like back in the day, if a star was healthy, he was playing. No questions, no excuses. Players like MJ, Larry Bird, Magic, and Shaq, all these guys showed up every night because that's what the game demanded. Today, you watch LeBron skip a back-to-back and people act like it's totally normal. Back then, that would have caused riots in the stands and on Twitter if it existed. And it's not just missing games. The whole energy is different. Legends from the 90s will tell you straight up, modern players wouldn't survive that grind. Kevin Garnett has basically said it himself.
I don't think anybody in this generation could have played like 20 years ago, if I'm being 100. And this is everybody in our league.
And honestly, he didn't lie at all. Back then, the league was a war every night. The daily grind, the mental and physical punishment, the will to fight through it all, that's gone. And the league is worse for it. You can see it in the numbers too. In the 90s, dozens of players finished full 82-game seasons almost every year. Fast forward to now, and it's shocking how few do it. Sometimes only a handful. The league has basically traded relentless sportsmanship for load management and careful scheduling. It's smart for career longevity, sure, but for fans who want to see real competition night after night, it sucks.
And as an entertainer, I want to show, right? So if the guys are coming to watch me play, I don't want to miss that opportunity.
And don't even get me started on what that does to the culture. Back then, the game was about toughness, pride, and giving fans a show they couldn't get anywhere else. Legends expected you to show up, play hurt if you had to, and fight for every possession. Today, the conversation has shifted to branding, social media, and personal stats. And that's exactly why the legends are so angry. Because before the NBA became all glitz and glamour, it was built on rivalries, personalities, and the blood and sweat of players who gave the game everything they had. Let's take it back to that 1979 Indiana State versus Michigan State game, or better, Larry Bird versus Magic Johnson. You think March Madness is huge now? Forget it. This game is still the most watched college game ever. See, Bird was the ice-cold, blue-collar guy from Indiana, and Magic was the flashy point guard from Michigan, but that rivalry practically saved the NBA. Fast forward a couple years, and these two legends are in the NBA. Bird lands in Boston, Magic in Los Angeles, Celtics versus Lakers. At that point, it was no longer just about talent. It was about personalities clashing, styles colliding, and stakes that felt bigger than any regular season game today. And here's where it gets insane. The NBA at this point wasn't some social media-driven celebrity party circuit like it is now. These players showed up, night after night. You can check the numbers. Bird played 717 out of 738 possible games in his first 9 seasons. Magic? He treated performing every single night as a responsibility to the fans. And this was just the beginning. Because then, Michael Jordan arrived and oh boy, things exploded. MJ wasn't just another star, he was the alpha dog, and he didn't stop at the court. He turned basketball into a global obsession. In 1984, he signed with Nike. By the next year, Air Jordans hit the market and sold millions in the first year. Suddenly, we weren't just watching the NBA, we were living it, wearing it, and breathing it. Jordan became bigger than a player. He was a brand. And that brand, well, that's the major factor that made the NBA a worldwide phenomenon. But the crazy part is how toughness and competition were intertwined with that branding.
I hate it, I dislike it. I was just at Michael Jordan's 60th birthday party. He pulled me to the side. And you know, we talked about that for 30 straight minutes.
Really? Because back in the day, you guys
played every game.
Right.
No rest.
We wanted to play every single game. We couldn't wait to get out there on the court.
Mm-hmm.
Magic pushed through injuries and pain because leaving a game was never an option. And Jordan, he played full seasons and practically never sat a game out. And the ripple effect was that the ratings increased. Rivalries became must-see events. Fans weren't just casual observers, they were emotionally invested. Bird versus Magic, Celtics versus Lakers, and then Jordan dominating the 90s. This era gave the NBA a personality that drew people in. It made the NBA essential. So, when you look at today's NBA with the load management, the soft rules, the skipped games, and the social media distractions, you realize how much we lost. Now, here's where it gets wild, because if you thought the Bird versus Magic era or the Jordan era was intense, you have to fully understand just how insane their commitment really was. Back then, finishing a full 82-game season wasn't some huge deal. It was the standard, and these guys took it seriously. Every game mattered because the fans expected you on the court. They paid their hard-earned money to see you play. So what excuse could you possibly have for not giving them exactly what you were paid to do? That's why it's always just annoyingly funny to me that these new guys take rest days. And guess what? They aren't even ashamed. Whenever they talk about load management or rest days or taking time off mid-game, they do so with confidence, like that's how it's supposed to be. And it has gotten so obvious. I mean, look at the numbers. From 1980 to 2000, a huge number of players completed all 82 games every season. In 1980, 56 players did it. In 1981, it was 57 players. In fact, from that year until 2000, the minimum number of players to complete a full season was 50, and that was in 1991. But fast forward to this modern era. In 2016, only 18 players played the full season, and it kept dropping so much that only 5 players played the full season in 2022. Yeah, you heard me, 5. That tells you all you need to know about the NBA we have found ourselves in. And it even gets crazier when you hear the stories behind these numbers. You remember in 2016 when Kobe slipped on a rebound late in that game versus the San Antonio Spurs? He dislocated his right middle finger. I mean, that finger was so bad, it practically looked like the number 7. But guess what the Mamba did? He limped over to the sideline, had his trainer Gary Vitti push it back in real time, and walked straight back into the game like he didn't just go through excruciating pain.
He dislocated his finger, and it can be really, really difficult. It goes back into place, and then as soon as it goes in, he was gone. Like I patted him on the head, like, okay, it's gonna be okay. And next thing I know, he was gone. That, in and of itself, showed the toughness and the tenacity of Kobe Bryant and the will.
He ended up finishing with 25 points, with a dislocated finger. Think about that. Imagine what would happen today if that happened to Lebron. He'd probably take a medical leave for weeks. What makes this moment hit even harder is that Kobe's previous seasons had been riddled with injuries, and his last 3 seasons had been cut short. Yet when that finger popped, he didn't fold. He pushed. What about Larry Bird? This guy was dealing with herniated discs and severe back pain, but he still destroyed every opponent he came in contact with. And then, of course, Michael Jordan's legendary flu game. You know the one. Game 5 of the '97 finals. In this game, Jordan was dealing with severe illness, but he still went on to drop 38 points and then collapsed on the court before he was carried away by Scottie Pippen. Talking about Scottie Pippen, when he was asked about his thoughts on how lazy and soft the modern era is, here's what he had to say.
We just had basketball, and it was a lot easier to focus on our craft and our job and grow from that. We didn't have a lot of the distractions that, players have now with social media.
Even Iverson, known for his smaller frame and lightning speed, would never even consider skipping a game. To him, that was unthinkable. Every night was an opportunity to compete, and the idea of resting while healthy, forget it.
You could never come to me and talk to me about load management, like, AI, you're not playing tonight. Why? We're resting you. You're resting me like you're resting me. That's not load management. That's a suspension, man.
Yeah.
And Shaq agrees with him.
I think the NBA's become like too sensitive and political.
Oh, yes. Very, very sensitive, very soft, very political, but...
Back then, the NBA didn't protect you from anything. You either showed up or you didn't. That was the culture. These days, scroll through Twitter and half the conversation revolves around whether LeBron or Giannis will sit out back-to-back. And that's the thing. When players like Kobe, Bird, and Jordan showed up every night, it wasn't just about toughness. It created these rivalries that kept the league alive. Let me take you back to the late 80s and early 90s, when the only things the Chicago Bulls wanted to do was to destroy the Detroit Pistons, and vice versa. The Pistons weren't just good. They were the bad boys, the ultimate street fight team. These guys were physical, nasty, and they hated Michael Jordan with a passion. They created the infamous Jordan Rules, which was a blueprint designed entirely to take him out of games. And when I say take him out, I mean by every means possible. Every time Jordan touched the ball, it was like they were out to break every single bone in his body. It was so bad that Michael Jordan still hates them till today.
How legitimate was the hatred between those Bulls teams and those Pistons?
Oh, I hated him. And yeah, he carries even to this day.
But here's the moment that took it to another level. Game 7 of the 1991 Eastern Conference Finals. Chicago finally broke through after years of getting stomped on by the bad boys. And right after the game, the Pistons walked off the court without shaking hands with the Bulls. And why? It wasn't just anger about losing. It was a last act of defiance, a "we're leaving on our terms" statement, and a symbolic way of showing their hatred and unwillingness to acknowledge the Bulls' victory. And Jordan? He used it as fuel. That moment lit a fire under him heading into the finals against the Lakers. For fans, it wasn't just a game ending. It was a dramatic payoff to years of rivalry. Every elbow, every trash talk, every underhanded tactic the Pistons used over the years finally collided in that one moment. And that was exactly the kind of drama that made the NBA feel like it was more than basketball. Then there were the Celtics and Lakers, the ultimate East versus West showdown. Bird's Celtics were hardworking and tough, while Magic's Lakers were flashy and unstoppable, the literal embodiment of Showtime. Their finals matchups weren't just about winning titles, they were epic stories that lasted for years. In '84, the Celtics won. In '85, the Lakers came back. Every game, every buzzer beater, every clutch shot, and every bit of trash talk mattered. And then there were Pacers and the Knicks. Reggie Miller taunting Patrick Ewing at Madison Square Garden? Iconic. Miller scoring 8 points in 9 seconds? Legendary. This wasn't just about the score. The tension was so real you could feel the hatred through the TV. See, what made these rivalries so damn good wasn't just the basketball, it was everything else around it. And then, things started to change. Free agency and super teams broke those stories apart. Players can now hop teams every offseason. Matchups are dictated by cap space and stats, not rivalries or grudges. In fact, Celtics coach Joe Mazzulla even said he wishes the NBA could bring back fighting in the league.
The biggest thing that we rob people of from an entertainment standpoint is you can't fight anymore. We should just bring back fighting.
I mean, I'm not against that. I'm not against those days in the NBA.
City rivalries just aren't the same anymore. Back in the day, Detroit versus Chicago, Boston versus LA, that was real. Each team had its own vibe and its own culture. Now the NBA is global, which is awesome, but this new mode of operation kind of kills that my city versus your city energy. Most of these new kids come up through AAU, travel teams, and early branding, and fewer guys actually grow up with that hometown pride. Roster stability mattered too. The bad boys stuck together. The Bulls had Jordan and Pippen. The Celtics had Bird, McHale, and Parrish. That gave the grudges time to simmer. And without that, the NBA has lost some of its soul. You still get insane talent, crazy games, and highlight reels, but that's all. And honestly, it just makes the NBA feel less intense and less exciting for the fans. Being soft and lazy has become this accepted norm. Like it's totally fine if stars skip a back-to-back or take rest days whenever the schedule says so. But every time that happens, the NBA loses. People pay top-dollar tickets expecting to see LeBron, Giannis, or Luka in action, and then nada. One study from the MIT Sports Analytics Conference actually broke this down. When a star player sits, ticket value can drop anywhere from 9% to 24%, which is about $9 to $33 per person. And you can feel it everywhere, even the TV ratings. Last season, the league's national TV broadcasts on ABC, ESPN, and TNT averaged about 1.53 million viewers, which is roughly 2% lower than last year. That might not sound huge, but zoom out. That's hundreds of thousands of people who just didn't bother tuning in. And it's not random. ESPN's own data shows that games featuring top 10 stars draw 35 to 40% more viewers. So when guys like Giannis, Luka, LeBron, or Steph sit for rest, the NBA is losing. Big time. For diehards like us, sure, we'll still watch a Thunder versus Wolves game on a Tuesday night. But for everyone else, if the main guys are missing, the night loses its spark. It's just sad to see how we moved from what we used to have to an era that thrives on analytics and science alone. Teams now run rotations through player efficiency models, load metrics, and predictive fatigue data. Yeah, I get the logic. They want to protect their investment and keep the stars healthy for April and May. But the byproduct is worse, and that's exactly what the old heads keep saying. Michael Jordan's been blunt about it. Load management is totally unnecessary.
What do you think of when you hear the term load management thrown around?
It shouldn't be needed, first and foremost.
Charles Barkley flat out called load management bullshit, pointing out that today's players have better doctors, better travel, and way more money, and somehow play less.
Stop this BS with load management. We can't keep crapping on the fans where we're like, wait, you're making $70 million. You can't play basketball 4 days a week?
Even Charles Oakley said this.
Are you a fan of just load management?
No.
You're a fan of?
No. I think that you should want to play. They paying your salary. The kids come to the game. They want to see you, especially the team you want to play once at home, once on the road. You got to play these games.
And what's crazy is that these players aren't even playing by the same rules the older guys played by. I mean, back in the day, defenders could actually touch you. Hand checking was legal for decades until the 2004-05 season, when the NBA banned it. They said it was to improve freedom of movement, but in reality, it made it too easy for offensive players. Guards went from fighting through people like Bill Laimbeer to basically running through open hallways. After that, scoring exploded, and defense kinda died. And this isn't nostalgia, it's facts. Before the hand check rule, the league's average points per game hovered around 93. 10 years later, it was pushing 102. Today, it's sitting at 114 points per game. And that's the highest it has been since the early 70s. Well, you can thank those freedom of movement rules for that. But that was just the first domino. Once analytics came in, teams realized, wait a second, 3 is worth more than 2. And the math takeover began. The numbers said layups and threes were better, and so everyone followed. In 2013, teams were averaging about 21 three-point attempts per game. Now, we're at over 35 on average, and the Boston Celtics in 2024 took a record 3,482 threes in one season. It's wild, because this all changed how the game feels. The old school was about punishing drives, physical defense, and earning your buckets. Now it's all about spacing and pace. You don't have guys like Shaq throwing elbows in the post anymore. You've got 7-footers like Karl Anthony Towns and Porzingis launching from the logo. And honestly, even the players who benefited from these rule changes have come out to talk about how much the rules have affected the game. I mean, listen to JJ Redick.
My argument right now is bring back hand checking. You know what hand checking is going to do? It's going to lead to more shooting fouls.
Yeah. And yeah, the game's faster and flashier, but it's also cleaner, maybe too clean. You don't get those gritty rivalries because no one's allowed to get in each other's faces. Oh, and don't get me started on the celebrity lifestyle that has taken over everything. Social media and branding are eating the game alive. Players aren't just athletes anymore. They're walking brands, content machines, and PR campaigns with legs. And honestly, it takes the focus off basketball. Take LeBron, for example. Back in 2022, he made this video.
Hey, everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Now ask yourself, is there any world where you find MJ, Kobe, Bird tangled in this sort of mess? I mean, look at this guy. Isn't he supposed to be the greatest player of this era? And that's not all. Remember that weird Decision 2 advert he did with Hennessy?
In this fall, man, this is tough. In this fall, I'm gonna be taking my talents to Hennessy VSOP.
No one is saying the players shouldn't have brands outside basketball. I mean, MJ's partnership with Nike is still one of the biggest the NBA has ever seen. But that never took away from the fact that he's also the greatest player the league has ever seen. If anything, it amplified it. And the platforms make it impossible to escape. TikTok, Instagram Reels, Twitter clips, every insane dunk or crazy highlight gets cut into seconds-long videos immediately. That's cool for virality, but it also turns games into bite-sized content instead of the epic showdowns we used to see. The focus has shifted from who would win on the court to who's going to get the most likes on their 15-second dunk clip. Then there's the fashion, grooming, and lifestyle angle. Players used to be men who were masculine and used every opportunity to show that, but now we have players like Jared McCain, who would rather do this.
I hopped into a coffee shop, and then my jaw dropped in shock when I saw a girl who had cool pants. They made me want to dance. I started to...
Now, you can't escape the fact that basketball is just one channel in a much bigger entertainment product. And while global reach and branding are great for the league's bottom line, for fans who grew up loving the grit, the grind, the showdowns, it's frustrating to see the NBA lose that. So, what's next for the NBA? Well, we're at a crossroad. Sure, load management will extend players' careers, but what are we giving up in exchange? Imagine a league in 5, 10 years, where it's normal for your favorite player to miss 20, 30 games a season. That might keep the scoreboard fresh, but from a fan's perspective, games won't mean as much anymore. So, what can actually be done to fix this? First, players need to commit. The league already started the player participation policy in 2023 to 24 to penalize guys resting while healthy, but that's not enough. Another idea is to shorten the season. Cut it from 82 games to 72 so that every game actually matters, because it's obvious these new guys don't have what it takes to play 82 games. Another idea is to make stars play a minimum number of games to qualify for awards or bonuses. Basically, bring availability back as a real metric. Another thing the NBA can do is to make the regular season feel like it counts. Right now, too many games are guaranteed wins or excuses to rest guys. Rotate the young players all you want, but give fans matchups that feel real, reward continuity, punish unnecessary resting, and make sure the narrative is that the superstars show up night after night. Finally, bring back the warrior mindset. We've got better recovery, better trainers, and better facilities now, but fans grew up on the idea that you fight through pain and show up no matter what. The NBA needs that edge back. Here's the truth. The league has insane talent, but if it keeps putting rest, analytics, and branding above competition, the fans will keep checking out.